I, Santa Claus, have decided to retire. We have a grief counselor, right?
So, Tim, television and Santa are both very familiar territory for you, but what was it like bringing Santa onto the small screen?
Wow. Well, in design for that, I don't look at it as a small screen, because how we produce this, being both sides of it, this looks like a movie set. There's no small screen to it. It has that really weird hybrid for me, because in television you have many cameras working at the same time, multi-camera shoots, like Last Man Standing or Home Improvement. Like a movie, you'd have a primary camera. This is a hybrid of both. You'd get cameras working, and I still don't quite understand why we had 3 cameras running and then your primary camera. That's all technical stuff. How it shoots, the set, costumes, sound, special effects, all that is just like a movie. I find these people are doing this really well, and it's all for your enjoyment. I look at it, audience. It's stand-up comedy. I'm loving it. It's all about making people laugh. This thing is the magic of it, the background, the set, the costumes. It's really well done. They really stepped up, and it's all for you guys.
What is your favorite example of Christmas magic, whether in media or otherwise?
All my life, my brothers and I used to sit at the landing of our house. We'd wait till my parents went to bed, and we'd get up waiting for Santa Claus. And one night, and it's one of those things, we heard jingling. I swear we saw Santa, and I'm an adult going, that didn't happen. And then my brother goes, yeah, it did. I swear we thought we saw Santa Claus. Whether we were dreaming, I don't know what it was. But that was one of those, even when you're as an adult, go, what was that?
Yeah, and I can add on to that. I feel like Christmas personally is my favorite time of the year. I think it's the best time. It's just everything feels better when it's winter and Christmas. But we have so many fun traditions during Christmas time. Personally, I always think of Christmas morning when I wake up. He usually sleeps in, and my mom and I will go into our den area and watch a Christmas movie with hot cocoa and stuff. We'll wait until he gets up and then go into the
It's not like I sleep till noon. What are you talking about?
Well, okay, fine, then we get up early. I'll put it that way.
Sleeps in.
I mean, I gotta go with movies, right? So I didn't grow up in a Christian household, but we did celebrate Christmas, so it was more of a secular holiday, and certainly a big celebration. So for me, it was a lot of the cultural reference points that maybe we didn't grow up with in our own house, but which were still really meaningful. So the joy of gift giving, I mean, gift receiving too, obviously, which kid doesn't like getting presents on Christmas, but being able to give something to somebody and being able to be together with loved ones and your community. In my case, especially around movies that you love watching, like A Christmas Story or the first Santa Claus movies, or I know Die Hard's a little bit contentious. It is a Christmas movie. But even that, so to me, it's being able to spend time with people you love and care for.
Yeah, for me, it's probably the only time of the year where most of the family gets together, an extended family. So just the whole idea of watching Christmas movies, the Santa Claus movies, and baking and just having a good time with sipping hot cocoa, I think it's just ideal.
I love looking around and seeing everybody. I absolutely love having all the kids there and my sisters, and watching my mom's face light up and how content I can see she feels because all her little birds are there. It's just beautiful.
So Simon's arc in the first couple episodes very much acts as an audio or an audience stand-in. You're cynical, you're burnt out, you're tired. Can you talk a little bit about his journey throughout the season?
So Simon's a tech bro. He started this tech company that did quite well. He's a single dad. He has a great, very close relationship with his daughter. And then Santa, who's retiring, decides to interview Simon as one of the many people he interviews to potentially take over as Santa Claus. And I think the really interesting arc that you obviously picked up on is whether Simon really understands the meaning of Christmas, and how his relationship with his daughter, not to give away too much, but how his relationship with his daughter really reminds him of the real meaning of Christmas, and figuring out how to be hopeful again, and how to be maybe less of a cynic, and and to believe in a magic that's maybe greater than us.
Elizabeth, much of the first 2 episodes are very much about Carol, like, wanting to get her identity back. Can you talk a little bit about her journey this season?
Sure. You know, I think when we first find Mrs. Claus, she's happily reading a book and drinking cocoa, and I think she's in her element. She is a legendary figure and a mom and a wife, and I think that all of a sudden, she's like, wait a minute. I think there's more. Like, I think there's more for me. I think there's more for everybody. And if there's more for you and more for you and more for me, then I've completely forgotten about who I am. So how do I get that back? What do I do now? And I think it's so relatable to me. I feel like we've all been through it, you know, where you give of yourself and you are part of a dynamic and you make that dynamic work. And then all of a sudden you're like, wait a minute, what do I like? What is my favorite color? Who am I? Right? So I think that's where she is. And it felt really fun to me to explore.
The series sets up kind of a big mystery for the former Santa and Mrs. Claus. Are we going to see that get developed more, or is that more going to get enveloped into just finding your identities as human beings rather than figures again?
Oh, it does both. I promise it does both. I think that that's what Tim wanted more than anything with this, is to delve more into the mystery of it all. I mean, I think that was his most exciting, most joyful idea. And I think what they came up with is incredibly touching and feels really authentic to me. So I think that I think that's a great question. And I think that it will be further explored. There's a lot of comedy to be mined in both, but I think the heart lives in both worlds. And I think that that's really where Tim, you know, that's where all his creative work comes from.
Elizabeth, what was it like working with your dad?
Such a blast. I can't say enough. It's an honor. I'm so grateful for it. It was so much fun. There was never a day that I was like, oh gosh, I have to go to work. Like, I would have so rather have done that than go to school, which I got to do for a while, which was nice. But no, I had such a blast on set with him.
Elizabeth, Tim, thank you both so much.
Thank you.
Hey, Merry Christmas to you.
Merry Christmas.
Come down, no.
Who are you?
I'm Santa Claus.